on. Count it down.
Yeah. 5, 4, 3, 2. Axtell.
Hey!
Woo-hoo-hoo.
What's up, everybody? How we doing?
Merry Christmas Eve, folks.
Merry Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you are with some loved ones right now, enjoying the company of the people that matter most in your life. We are grateful to be with you right now because we are about helping people entertain the world and make the world a happier place.
That's right.
So thanks for joining us tonight.
Super fun. All right. Well, we know you might be watching this tonight or in a rerun. Mm-hmm. No problem. Either
Whether
way.
you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, thank you for
Super
joining
fun.
us. The crew known as the Insiders.
Hey, we have a newsletter coming, and that's
We do.
going to include a ton of the new content and new opportunities and new deals and specials that we have at Axtell Expressions. Ryan, how would somebody sign up for something like the newsletter?
Glad you asked, Steve. Go to axtell.com and right on the homepage, enter your email address, and we will be sending you our newest newsletter. That'll be coming out right after the holidays.
Yep.
And we send out, a handful of them a year, usually highlighting new products, new services, highlighting new projects or clients that we've worked with. So it's always
Fun stuff.
Benefit. To
Not
be
only
part of that.
puppets, but also tracks. And oh my gosh, this is the most incredible thing, Ryan.
What?
The new website release.
In the new year.
Yep.
New look here at Axtell.
Jan 2021 is the new Axtell website.
It's the scheduled release.
It's a scheduled release.
The plan is to have the new website launched in January. And we've been working hard to make that happen.
Oh, yeah.
So keep your eyes out.
It's super cool mobile. Mm-hmm. And right now our website is a little bit funky mobile-wise.
I mean, it's hipster. Oh, you want
No,
mobile?
it's
I like
very
I
much...
like to use my Russian
It's
laptop.
not hipster. It's more...
No, it's been in the works for a long time, and we are this close to launching it. So keep your eyes out in January for the new website. Hopefully just making it
Ryan
easier
has
for you to
been
connect
working
with
so
the things that
hard
we
on
have
this.
to offer.
Oh.
Yeah, I have. Working hard behind the scenes to get this going. So January, keep your eyes out. Fingers crossed.
January 1.
/30.
/30.
But hey, until then, the newsletter.
Newsletter and new website.
And new website. But two different things.
New Year's.
Different times.
All right.
We hope you're having a great Christmas Eve. And if you're watching this, it probably means your family's talking politics or sports, and you needed
had
a
to
break.
escape. You
So
had
welcome
to escape. Thank you for joining us.
Inside Axtell. Oh my gosh. Steve, February is around the corner. I always say that when it's Christmas, February is around the corner, which means
Interesting.
CAX is
CAX is
coming up.
February.
Your face is
3
covered
through
up.
6.
But tell me about CAX, Steve.
Well, Ryan, February 3 through 6.
Nailed it.
3 through 6. Yes. 3 through 6.
Anything else you can tell us about CAX
Nope.
other than the date?
Other than that, it's the incredible combination of Cadabra and Axtell.
And it is virtual this year. So cadabra.org, go and sign up. You can participate. Some amazing entertainers and educators will be presenting. It's going to be pretty cool. And we'll have an episode that'll be airing during CAX. So we'll have some special content.
Super cool.
Special guests.
I can't believe
talk
the
about it
guest.
yet,
No, I can't believe the guest we're going to have for that.
we're pretty
It's gonna be
excited about it.
Super cool. But anybody that's serious about their own business in kids performing, you've got to be part of CAX. You've got to be part of Cadabra. Yeah. So please join them.
Sorry, Steve. Got an update here. The mug. Notice a tighter camera shot. What are you hiding, Steve? Tell us about the integrity of the mug. Thanks. Back to you, Steve.
This one? This one's fine. There's no breaks whatsoever.
Hey, Steve, even don't pander. Want to check in on Chuck's mug by the ostrich and the zombie head.
This one, oh my gosh. This is literally my favorite mug. I drink out of this every morning for coffee.
And then you put it back on the shelf
height.
right after?
Huh?
You come upstairs, get the cup, drink coffee, rinse it out, put
No,
it
I have
back.
2 of these. One Chuck sent me.
That is
and
true.
One I have.
That is true.
An extra one that I have, and I did break one, of course. That's why Chuck sent me one. And then I found one.
That's right.
I love this size mug. It's tall.
It is a nice mug.
It's got the full handle.
Versus the half handle, like many mugs.
Yeah.
Well, Steve, we got a lot of photos from the insiders this week. Shall we take a look and see
check it out.
what we got?
Oh,
so, our friend,
Merry Christmas from the insiders.
our
Check
friend
it out.
from the north, who is a Santa Claus, Reiner,
Yeah.
sent this in. Check it out. His whole Axtell collection in his workshop.
Look at that.
So
Whoa,
cool, man.
what?
He's got quite the collection.
Look at that. That's crazy.
And
Wow.
then this is from our friend Henry Veras. He actually just sent this in right before we started recording. Check it out.
Oh, how fun.
He's got his green screen green suit, Larry the Cute,
Look at that.
the Christmas
Oh,
cute,
my
if you
goodness.
will.
He's got the...
His Christmas dinky. Look, he's got his Axtell's Attic
Larry, boy,
mug.
you can't do green on green. That's cool.
I know, green on green, man. That's
is up.
that
with
is
that?
ballsy.
There's just like a
but-
head. There's just like a Santa hat and eyes
And a
and
bow.
tooth
Yeah.
and a tooth.
All right, let's see what we got here. This is from our friend Steve Petra, all the way
Oh my
from
gosh.
New York. This is his
Look at
turkey
that.
reindeer.
It's a turkey deer. Look at that.
Love that. Yeah. So thank you everyone for sending in
Oh my
your
gosh.
photos. Let's see. I think I got a few more here too. I got, oh my gosh, Owen Reed, all the way from the UK. Look how classy he looks.
Oh my gosh. Look at that
Come
on the
on.
magic drawing board. What is up with that guy? Sweet
We
velvet
got
suit.
Magic Lalo here. Also, I think he looks like Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails. I just
So
watched
good.
their song
Magic
Hurt on
Lalo.
Song Exploder on Netflix.
Yeah.
So he's
so
kind of got that cool
Look
look
at that. He's
going
got
on.
the mega cockatoo with the rising crest and the Vincent vulture
Yep.
from the Axtell collection.
Now, this is kind of cool. Steve, explain what's going on here.
So right now we have Emma Taylor, who is actually eating her creator, Terry Fator.
Terrence Fader getting eaten by Emma. Love
Terrence
that. Hey, from Down
Fader.
Under, it's Ricky Bewley. Check it out. The Christmas Sloth.
What? Oh, I love it.
Look
A
at
Christmas
that.
Sloth. So the Christmas Sloth delivers the packages very,
Very slowly. Makes it to one house per year. So, hey, just a reminder, you can always send in your insider photos to us, Ryan@Axtell.com or Steve@Axtell.com, and we'd love to share your photos of Axtell products and entertainment and the things that you're doing.
Oh my gosh, Ryan. Are you ready to show the first Frizzle Chicken
That's right.
video? This is the 12 Days of Christmas. Check it.
All right, here it comes.
Yeah.
Come on.
I love that.
Okay, so fun fact.
Isn't that cool?
We all know the 12 days of Christmas, right?
Yep.
When do the 12 days of Christmas start?
12 days before Christmas.
That is wrong.
Nope.
The 12 days of Christmas
Clearly,
start on Christmas and they end at Epiphany.
What?
So the 12 days of Christmas start on Christmas Day and in the church calendar represent the days before the Magi came. On Epiphany is when the Magi show up in tradition. Which is 12 days after. So Kingston and I were looking this up. 12 days of Christmas starts Christmas Day.
My own grandson.
I know. Isn't that interesting? And then it lasts 12 days after Christmas. Okay, so that was a song that you did for the Frizzle Chicken House, right?
I did. Yep.
Okay.
And I had another proposal for them.
Okay.
And that was the Hallelujah chorus.
From Handel's Messiah, right?
Handel's Messiah.
And they
imagine that. They said, "Oh no, chickens doing Handel's Messiah would
in
not
a Waffle House.
It would be sacrilegious." And the people of Tennessee, where the Frizzle Chicken Pancake, the Frizzle Chicken Farmhouse Cafe is located in Pigeon
Forge, right?
Yep.
Okay.
They would not accept that as legit, and it would be offensive.
Okay.
I said, "Are you kidding?" Because even the animals know the true meaning of Christmas. And so here is my Frizzle Chickens. I went ahead and did it anyway. The Hallelujah
This
chorus.
was just an effort of love, right? You just wanted to do this?
Yeah, I just went ahead and did it for them, and they didn't show it at the restaurant.
But we got it, so take a look.
I love it. I think it's
Hallelujah chorus. A deep dive. Man, that represents so many hours of work.
Oh my gosh.
To
You're right.
program and write the music. I mean, Greg Jackson was working with you on the music.
My gosh,
He's going to be a guest on the show upcoming.
Soon.
You guys did a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into all of that.
It's so good. Oh my gosh. And I'm so glad that we did the Hallelujah chorus. It's so meaningful for Christmas. Even though chickens are doing it, I think
love
it's
it, man.
really cool. Super cool.
Well, hey, we have a performer spotlight we want to share tonight. And coming to us from the UK, this is our good friend, Davey Dee. Check him out. Davey Dee.
Davey Dee.
Performer Spotlight.
Hi, Ryan and Steve from Axtell. Thank you so much for having me on the Entertainer Spotlight. So I'll tell you a bit about myself. My name's Davey Dee, an entertainer from Lytham St. Anne's in England. I was going to say sunny, but not a chance. It's absolutely belting it down. So a bit about myself. I've been in the entertainment industry for about 16 years. Done pretty much everything from wedding singing, kids entertainment, family entertainment. Worked right across the board, all over the Northwest, at cruise ships. I've done magic shows, puppetry, balloons, you name it, I've pretty much done it, and absolutely love my job. But yeah, as soon as I get home, the craziness still continues. I've got 3 kids, and as soon as I get home, I start doing the practical jokes on the kids. Do embarrass them massively. For example, before all the lockdown hit, I dressed up as Batman and picked up my eldest from school dressed as Batman. Bear in mind, she's 13 years old. Didn't know where to put her face. That was a classic, but she didn't speak to me for a week. My partner's downstairs. Been with her for 3 years now. She can't hear me, just in case I get that wrong, because she's making tea, although it could be burnt tea now. I've got 3 dogs as well, 2 Chihuahuas and a Yorkshire Terrier. As a performer, quite hyper, full of energy, like to run out there, get all the kids sort of charged up, all the families. I've got some great puppets. Kids absolutely love the dinosaur, Rolo the duckbill dinosaur. One of my favourites at the moment, to be honest. Dress up as Reindeer Dee, which I'll show you very shortly. And the kids go wild. Absolutely love the dinosaur, because I think dinosaurs in England at the moment are quite massive again.
Hi, are we recording? Hi, it's me, Reindeer Dee, the greatest explorer in the world, and this here is Rolo, the duck-billed dinosaur. That's right. Now, one thing we know about the duck-billed dinosaur, they have the world's tiniest brain. All right, get off my head. All right, took me hours to do my hair today. What are you doing? Now, Steve and Ryan from Axtell, thank you so much for having us on the Entertainer Spotlight this evening. We're so excited. Now, you're wondering where we are today. I know, as we're vivid explorers, we are in the kids' bedroom. I know, this is a real mess. I know, we're brave. Now, what we generally do with our dinosaurs all the way from Axtell, we come out with little speeches, we tell them all about different kinds of dinosaurs. They even get to meet Rolo, the duck-billed dinosaur, who's a carnivore. No, I was joking. I know he's a herbivore. All right. Now, thank you so much. I will see you guys really soon. Ranger D, over and out.
Yeah, I've had various products from Axtell, well, quite a lot actually. I've had the Axtell drawing board, kids absolutely love that. The Axtell mic mouth, again, it's just a big favourite. Obviously can't use it at the moment, but when we start using that again, the kids absolutely go wild for that, because obviously you're controlling as they speak. Absolutely brilliant. I've got loads of the puppets. I've got the Axtell dinosaur. I've got obviously Vern the vulture, he's quite crazy. Doesn't like the old people, though, makes the old people kind of jump out of the seats quite a lot. But over the years I've had quite a few of the puppets. Axtell puppets are just like the best ones you can get. Yes, one of the funniest things that's happened to me is I was doing a magic show, got the kid on the stage, doing a card trick with the kids, and literally doing this card trick, the kid looked down and saw the gimmick. He saw the fake card, pointed it out to which in horror I was like, whoa, kind of embarrassing. So what I did in that situation, sort of brushed it away in the bin and carried on the show. Luckily, everyone saw the funny side of it, and that kid was an absolute little diamond. Something that happened, this is going back many years ago. I used to do the game shows at the hotels. So the adults would do various dance moves. So, for example, they do Strictly Come Dancing. They come in, start doing dancing, like to Chubby Checker Twisting. They do ballet, something completely different. Then you obviously, at the end of each song, you'd vote out a couple. And eventually it was left with 2 couples. One was about 60, and he's with his partner. Then there was a young couple as well. So I put on, I think it was Riverdance first. He danced away, no problem. Absolutely loved it. Then we did it on a tiebreaker because they both did really well. So I then put on some ballet. And this is something I've never ever seen before. This 60-year-old guy, he must have leapt 12 feet in the air, and then all of a sudden his legs parted and did a front split on the dance floor. We heard a pop and thought, oh, that sounded pretty painful. And he hobbled up, he popped his hip out of place, and everyone was like, whoa! yeah, that was probably one of the worst experiences I've been through. Someone popping the hip actually on the dance floor. Yeah, where I see myself in entertainment goal-wise, I would like to do some more TV work. Done Britain's Got Talent before now. I would like to do like game shows and things, and obviously I would like to break into America and do different things over there, really. And that's one of my main goals. I mean, England, I absolutely love it, but I'd love to work in different places overseas and just see what I've got to offer, basically.
Thank you for joining us for another edition of Performer Spotlight. All right.
Hey, Ryan.
Davey Dee.
All right.
Yeah.
How old is
Come on. So cool.
Nice.
Love it. All the way from the UK, spreading some cheer. Well, Steve, we have a lot more content to share.
We do, but first I need you to go take care of some things.
Can we? It's Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Can we take a break from the chores?
Sure.
Oh, good.
All I need you to do, we're going to do a hayride. It's going to be so fun for Christmas. So go get the wagon
Okay.
hooked up to the hay bales and come back around and
Are they
pick
in
up
the
the
red
crowd.
barn or the green barn?
Green, of course. You ready? All right. And if you do
Now,
want to shuck some snakes while you're there, use the safety mittens.
if I don't want to,
Then don't use the safety mittens because you won't be needing them.
but I still have to do it.
No, tonight you don't. Tonight's like a grace thing. All you have to do is go down and get the wagon
Okay.
with the hay bales and stuff and bring them up here. We're going to do a hay ride tonight. It's going to be super fun.
All right.
Super fun.
Well, I'll let you know what I find. I'll see you in a second.
All right.
All right.
See you later.
And now it's time to ask the Tiki.
All right, Mr. Tiki, are you ready?
Give it to me, baby.
All right, we've got some questions here. Oh, from the internet. All right. Oh, great Tiki, you know a lot about the tides. What do you think of the Yule tides?
Well, they do call me the surf line of the Tahitian Islands. For those of you that don't know, that is an app that's used here in the States by many a surfer. Let's just say I know the tides well. You know, the moon affects them, and last night we had the joining of two great planets, the closest they've been together in more than 400 years, actually. The most visible in 800
planets?
years, the Great Conjunction
Of
Jupiter and Saturn.
what? And you can
Yep.
cover it with your pinky.
That's right, Steve. And guess what? The tides were affected, probably.
And the winds, too. It's been crazy.
Well, the winds would be unrelated, but the tides.
Didn't see the tides, but the winds
So,
were crazy today.
My answer is yes, Yule tides. Yule means Yule Brenner, like the king and I. So basically, it's like, would you want to usher in a new season of The King and I? Why, yes, except we won't use the term Siam. You know what I mean.
All right, I got another one here. Oh, great
Okay.
Tiki, is Santa real?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. You can't put that pressure on me. I have no idea who is watching as kids, who's watching as parents. I don't want to upset the family balance of mystical fun and true fact. Let's just say he is exactly what you think he is.
I thought
to borrow
he might
wisdom
be.
from Dwight from The Office.
All right. Oh, great Tiki, how can Rudolph's nose light up?
Rudolph's snows?
Yes. How can Rudolph's nose light up?
Oh, thank you, Steve. Well, clearly he's using technology from the fish that come from the deep parts of the Mariana Trench. You know, the ones that are effervescent and light up, that are below miles and miles of ocean. He must have gone down there and smeared it around his nose. But you raise a good point, Steve. Thanks for asking. Why isn't it a luminescent green? Much like the anglerfish found in Nemo?
I didn't ask that.
Well, it's
No,
Christmas cheer.
None of that was asked.
Every time a child opens a present, Rudolph's nose gets a little bit redder. To quote James Stewart from It's a Wonderful Life. Nailed it.
Okay. Oh, great Tiki. Why do elves wear green when Santa wears red?
Well, they're complementary colors, Steve. You can't have one without the other. Haven't you seen the movie Elf? Please. You have the boss, the alpha male, Santa, wearing red. Red is a dominant color. It's also the first color to disappear at night, which means Santa will be harder to see at dusk, whereas green stands out. So his elves, as he helps them land the sleigh and do lots of chores and other things like shuck snakes and all that jazz, Santa will still be able to see them, but he will see they are subservient to him because they wear the secondary color.
Got it. Okay, here's another question.
All right.
Oh, great Tiki. Why do reindeer have bells?
Well, so they don't sneak up on you at night. Except you want them to sneak up at you at night because they are dropping off presents. This is an Inception
What are they dropping off?
model right now. Probably because it sounds magical. I'd have
could
to go
be.
with that.
It could be. Well, let's go with that. All right.
right.
Oh, great Tiki.
Yes.
This is the last question we have for the evening.
Okay.
Oh, great Tiki. Has January 6th become the new Y2K?
Oh my gosh. Regardless of your political affiliation, I think we can agree that the world ends on January 6th. I, myself, have dug a bomb shelter. Granted, I don't even have opposable thumbs or arms, yet I, over
How did you hold
thousands of
shovels?
years, have figured out how to dig a bunker here in
I
Tahiti.
think you recruited.
I have 900 pounds of beans, 700 pounds of frankfurters,
Oh, my goodness.
300 tons of rice, and 1 pound of dehydrated Mai Tais. But yes,
Thank you
let's
for your
just
wisdom.
say, who knows what's going to happen on January 6th? Will your conspiracy theory come true? Will it just become another day, as we've seen for eons? Who knows? The Tiki does, but he won't tell.
It's going to be an interesting day, no question about it.
It will.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you so much, Oh Great Tiki. Good night.
Good night. Hey, man. All right.
Hey, Ryan.
Wrapping up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on in, bud.
So,
How'd it
update.
go?
Let's see. I found the hay.
Oh, nice. Did you hay the horses?
It wasn't on the list. You said hook the wagon to the hay bales. The hay looks a lot like grass in our neighbor's yard.
But
I cut
brown,
it with a
right?
scythe.
Not
We had a
green.
scythe, luckily.
we had a what?
A scythe.
What's this?
You know, the Grim Reaper. It was green and it was short. So I used a scythe/shovel, dug it up,
Oh, my God.
made
What?
some
Are you
people
serious?
sit on it. It was muddy.
Nobody sat on the slide.
They did. I hooked it to my Prius.
What?
I didn't have a wagon. You didn't
This
tell
is
me where to get a
wrong.
wagon. I checked
This is
Home
just
Depot.
wrong.
They didn't have
No.
hayride wagons. So I used my Prius. I made Grandma and some other people sit on
The scythe?
the turf that I dug up,
Oh, okay.
and they
That's
didn't
better.
enjoy it. I didn't have Christmas
they
music,
wouldn't.
so I played 90s alternative hits.
Like what, for example?
Oh, like, why don't you get up from that ledge, my friend? Third Eye Blind, things like that.
Instead of?
Instead of, we wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas. It was, like, somebody once told me the world is gonna show me. So, aggressive, annoying.
90s.
Yeah, technically that last one I sang was from the early aughts, Shrek. Anywho, let's just say no one enjoyed it. I didn't shuck any snakes, and
It's
now the
early
neighbor
aughts.
wants
The early aughts.
the early aughts. The neighbor wants you to contact them about putting their grass back.
I
in.
will be. I will
And
be.
I said,
contacting- I told him to
you
contact
told me to dig it up.
Scuba Diver
So
Joe. He will take care of all things Axtell. Scuba Diver
they
Joe
are not
promises.
excited
No,
about.
He'll take care of it.
Okay.
Right, Joe?
Anywho,
Come on.
Steve, we had some cool projects going on this week.
Absolutely.
Involving some things that we've teased on the show. A
Oh my
sculpt
goodness!
of
Yeah.
someone in office.
Yeah.
Should we take
This
a look?
is the president-elect Joe Biden. Check it out.
All right. All right, so we do a lot of sculpting in ZBrush digitally and 3D print and all that, but Steve still likes to get his hands dirty and use clay. We do a lot in physical clay. So Steve, what are you working on here in your Beat Lab, aka the sculpting shed?
This is President-elect Joe Biden,
Nice.
and I'm about halfway finished with it.
Oh wow, man.
I'm doing a strong caricature right now. I'll probably end up cutting through here and allowing the ears to have, even though he has his hair over his ears,
Put some glasses on.
I got to be able to put the glasses on there because we got to
Yeah.
have the aviators going on. And
Love
so
the.
I'm probably gonna be doing this.
I love the angle of the mouth, you know, because he has a crooked mouth.
Definitely has that sneer smile.
And he's got the big eyebrows too. You really, are able to focus in on the main
His
caricatures.
eyes are also very close together. As a caricature, I made them extra close together. Bent up the eyebrows, and the crooked smile is exaggerated, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And the very sharp nose, here he is from the side view. He's actually a pretty handsome man.
It's a great
His
sculpt.
main thing is his eyes being so close together and his furrowed brow at all times, and these lines that come down across his forehead.
Yeah.
And then
Love
up
it.
here, he's going to be bald right here, a balding area. And the hair will just be painted and airbrushed accordingly. And I'm using sculpted hair on most of the presidents except Trump. Most of the presidents I actually did on my own line Trump, the one in our line, because you can get the style nailed and it never changes.
Yeah, a wig doesn't always translate.
No, you put it in a case, you pull it out of the case, it's all messed up. You got to spray it or you got to tease it. And even though people think they want the natural hair, it's not ever styled right. Anyway, I've got
Yeah, what's left to do before this goes into
a
the
whole lot of-
mold making process?
a whole lot of I'm gonna be changing some of the shapes. I have to actually fit eyes inside the eye sockets, get it to where that looks right to me, and then I'll end up smoothing that out and then pulling them out.
Okay.
I'll cut open the mouth. I'll detail the inside of the mouth, the teeth, the tongue, all of that. Then put the jaw back on. I'll be continuing to work on this and comparing it also to the other presidents that I've got. But here's an interesting fact, Brian. Come on over this way. I'm going to push this back. You probably have to come around my shoulder.
All right.
I want to show you this down here. When I was sculpting last week, I was thinking about our new frog,
Yeah,
frog
yeah.
video. So I started writing down the ideas on my work paper here.
Oh, yeah.
And look at this.
The start of the lyrics right there.
Hopping upon nothing better, climb on a little pad, looking around. I had all these ideas. I told you about eating bugs and
Yeah, you had
swamp
right there
buddies.
the bluegrass idea. And some of the
Bluegrass.
key lyrics. Swamp
Here's
buddies,
the chorus, swamp buddy.
which we changed
Yep.
to swamp critters,
Swamp
pond
critters,
buddies, but you had
pond buddies. There's swamp buddies, pond buddies, but we changed it to
Yeah.
swamp critters. Anyway, that's kind of how it happens in real life. You get ideas, you write them down on whatever you're working at, a napkin when you're at lunch, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. It's
So
super
cool, man.
Hey, we should check out your progress on the song.
Let's do it. Let's head
Yeah.
upstairs.
All right, Ryan, check it out. What are you doing?
Well, how the tables have turned. You have the camera around. So this is the session for the frog song, and I'll highlight
He wishes.
a couple things. So we got some vocals here. So we have this main the main vocal.
Grandpa was a big old bullfrog, taught us to know right from wrong.
Who's that, Ryan?
That's me. So we got that lower octave, but then we get to the chorus.
So we're swamp critters, pond buddies.
Turn it down a little bit.
I love it.
Get to the chorus, we got some other vocals. We got a double.
So we're swamp critters, pond buddies, swimming with them mud puppies.
So that's the same
Nice.
part, octave
Yep.
higher. And then you laid down some harmonies. And so we get this kind of cool...
So we're swamp critters, pond buddies, swimming with them mud puppies, splashing all around in them weeds.
Cool.
So we got some reverb on the background vocals to kind of separate them. And that's running through here. So that kind of makes some of the vocals have a little bit more space around them. But we left the lead vocal really dry, so it feels real up front.
Oh, very much. Very present. And he sounds like a folk singer that did, I don't know, the Pixar Jackalope.
Oh, yeah, that little short. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And some other
so let's see what
country
we got going
folk singers.
on.
Really good
Let's
job.
Take a look.
I love this.
Band-wise, we got some acoustic guitar. And then we added this kind of picking guitar.
Okay.
That's coming out this side. And this guitar. So they're pans. So check this out.
Nice.
So what you can see on this track is I'm actually... this guitar is centered until we get to the chorus. You can see when we get to the chorus, this is actually pushing to the side. Yep, because this picking part comes in.
Oh, yeah.
So we have one guitar, then all of a sudden they kind of open up in the stereo space, and we have two guitars kind of spread out. So, and then it goes back to centered, for the verse, then wide for the chorus again. So that's just some automation that kind of thickens it. We got some keys down here.
When I was a little bitty tadpole, all I had was a big old tail.
So I'm using like a Neve console clone here to give it a little bit of color.
Those are exceptional keys.
Yeah, it took about 100 takes with the person we had playing. But we finally got it. No, they're great. No, you nailed it. And then rhythmically, let's take a listen to what we got. We got some stomp claps. So the main rhythm here.
Whoa.
And we got some claps that come in on the offbeat. So that's kind
very
of our,
folk, very country.
Yeah, that's kind of our drum set.
Yep.
And then we have some, let's see here. We got the
frog washboard,
which is a dryer tube.
Yep, dryer tube.
Yeah, we got that going. So you can see I'm rolling off a lot of the low end, and we're accentuating kind of the high end here. So
sounds just like a washboard.
Yeah, trying to get it into that space. And then, then band comes back in. We have let's see, we got a tambourine that comes in there. So a lot of handheld percussion.
Here's the tambourine and the washboard. Yeah.
Working together in the kind of the higher register.
Yeah.
But we also accentuated a part.
Good.
The in them weeds, because in the video we're gonna have another character pop out and say it. So we kind of boosted this shout out line. Let me find
we need to boost that.
Here it is, in them weeds, right here. So this vocal part right here.
Cause we're swamp critters, pond buddies, swimming with the mud puppies, splashing all around in the weeds. We're sunning on
in the weeds. So that'll be another person popping out, and then another
person. Frog.
Another little change we made was in the before the first chorus. He says, "Hey, jump on in," but we wanted another voice to say it, another frog. To say it. And so
Did you do it?
I do. I revoiced it in a higher register. So
all right.
Here's the regular voice. We took out him saying it, and I re-recorded it. In a different sounding voice. So.
Went down and I heard some noise, lots of croaking and hollering. It was a big old party with lots of frogs, and I heard one say, "Hey, jump on in."
Nice. Now we're going to need a splash right there.
Yeah.
I can tell you about that. when I show you
what?
when I show you my part.
Why don't you show us? Let's take a look.
Oh my gosh, let's look at the visuals.
All right.
All right, what you got in the way of visuals, Steve?
All right, I want to start with this guy being a tadpole in the story, in the song, in the video.
All right.
And so we say, once I was a little bitty tadpole, and this
All I had was a big old tail.
That's right. So here he is, and the tail doesn't look so big, does it? Because a tadpole has a fin. Here's the fin. Let me turn that on and go back to this. Look at that.
Ah, there we go. Okay.
Yeah. And then let me turn on his irises.
So this is ZBrush, right? This is what you sculpted the tadpole
his,
in?
Pupils. There we go. So this guy is the tadpole of this frog. As you can see the similarity, but he's younger, right? He's got bigger cheeks. He's got only 2 teeth instead of all full mouth of teeth.
Doesn't have
and
frog hair
bigger
yet.
eyes. No hair yet, because frogs don't grow hair
Until
they're
later.
mature. Exactly. Until they're dinkies.
That's right.
Until they're dinkies. Okay. So here's the tadpole as he goes. And so I have this both modeled and painted in ZBrush. So now I'm going to bring that into Lightwave, my animation software, and I've set up bones in this, and so I am now animating the bones. This is wireframe. I'm going to switch this from wireframe now to texture so you can see. And I've also got lighting because it's heavily sunlit from the top.
Yep.
And you get some ambience so you can see some detail down below. And that's not exactly what it looks like when it's finished. You'll see what that looks like in a minute. But that's him swimming. And of course, we change him to having legs. We have legs and arms growing out so that as a tadpole, he begins to have these, right?
Yeah, he starts transforming into
starts transforming before he ends up being a full-blown, mature frog. Okay, so now let's go over here to Premiere.
This is our video editing software.
Now this, we're going to start out by the area where it's a frog, and check it. I got a few surprises for you, Ryan. You're going to love this.
I haven't seen the finished
All right,
version
so this is here's how it's going to go without the puppets in it yet.
When I was a little bitty tadpole, all I had was a big old tail.
And that's the animation.
And it shrunk in a
there's the leg.
There's the leg.
I went hopping on down the trail.
And now the frog is going to be over top of this.
And I heard some noise, lots of croaking and hollering. It was a big old party with lots of frogs, and I heard one say, "Hey, jump on in."
Oh, there's a splash.
Because we're swamp critters,
This will be a frog, a frog, a frog, and then our main frog over here singing.
Okay.
We're sunning on a little path, playing with the crawdads, hopping on the banks of the creek. This life's for me.
All right, now he's going to be hopping along, all right?
Grandpa was a big old bullfrog, taught us to know right from wrong.
Ah, the fly.
You ate you fly and jump real high, to croak
Nice.
real loud and sing this song.
And the frogs will come in from the side.
Swamp critters, pond butter, swimming with the mud.
The side kicks right there.
All around.
Yeah, they'll be there, and here.
We're sunning on a little path, playing with the crawdads, hopping on the banks of the creek. This life's for me.
All right.
Frog on a log.
Oh, nice.
Frog right here.
Nothing is cool as a frog on
Maybe
a log.
laying down.
Frog on a log. Frog on a log. Nothing is cool as a frog on a log. Because we're swamp critters, pond buggers, swimming with the mud puppies, splashing all around in the.
I'll go ahead. I'll fast forward here, and then watch what happens at the end when we get back to the.
This life's for me.
Oh, they'll jump into the water?
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Two of them will jump into the water. Boom,
Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
Isn't that cool?
Added treats
Yeah.
for the insiders. Way to go, man.
boom. Yeah. So we have the audio, we have the visual, we have the puppets, and we're going to put it all together in this.
So next step will be chroma key and film the actual puppet.
Yeah.
All right.
Super fun.
So cool.
Love it.
So that's a little behind the scenes what we've been working on for the frog
Yeah.
song
Yeah.
that we will have in the near future.
Oh, super cool. Early next year.
Steve, you put in a lot of effort on the visual side.
Oh, no more than you put in on the music. Oh my gosh. It's all coming together. It's going to be an amazing,
Be very cool.
amazing
Which means
video.
then we will have the Dinky Frog axe tracks also available.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Dinky Frog will be very soon available on the website as well.
That's right.
Well, Steve, we had a chance to sit down with our friend Terrence Fator, as he's known to his friends.
Terrence.
But we have an interview we want to play with Terry. Talks about his journey, some tips from him as a performer, and all that stuff. So check it out.
Oh, it's awesome. In the summer of 2005, I believe, there was an email that came across WorldVents. And WorldVents is the ventriloquist forum online. And this was before it was on Facebook. This was just a list that you would get onto in Yahoo groups. And there was an email from Terry Fator, and it was a plea to the ventriloquist community. You said, hey, I know I haven't said hi before, but my name is Terry Fator, and I travel and I do fairs and such. He goes, and you said, I'm looking for a writer. I'm looking for somebody to help me write. And this was to WorldVents, right? And so, and I don't know, a couple people might have said hi, or I remember you on the fair circuit or whatever, but nobody really picked up on it. And I was watching that, and I thought, well, that's interesting. And I save everything, okay? So I have my emails from all that history that time. And it was just kind of that plea, and nobody answered, and then it went away. And then you went, I don't know what was going on in your life, but what's really funny is after you won AGT, I brought your email back to the group, and I said, hey, gang, look, any one of you could have been a writer for Terry Fator, who's now, the superstar.
Well, there's kind of a funny story about that, and so I was looking, and I had completely forgotten about that until you just mentioned it. That I did have put out a little thing. I was trying to find someone to help me write some different materials so I could get some different perspectives, and I actually did have one person, because I reached out in other areas besides. I never got anybody from the vent community, but I did get I can't remember. I think it was an email actually, or maybe it was a letter. This may have been before email was more as popular as it is now. But this person said they contacted me. Maybe they called me and they said they were in LA and they said, I'm a comedy writer and I would love to sell you some stuff. And I said, well, what's the going rate? And I think they said like $25 a joke. And I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe I can come up with the money for that. And so they said, well, what are you looking for? And I said, well, things like this. And I had this little old man that I'd gotten from Verna Finley, which we all know in the vent community is a legend. And he was the oldest man in the world. And basically it was the 2,000-year-old man, except I said he was 7,000 years old because he knew Moses and Noah and he knew all the people. And I said, so here's an example of the type of joke I'm looking for this little old man. And the joke is he says, I said, so you actually knew Noah? And he says, yes, I knew Noah. And I said, well, tell me something about Noah that we don't, Moses. Tell me something about Moses that we don't know. And he says, Moses came from the mountain and he said, here, ladies and gentlemen, take these 2 tablets and call me in the morning. Now, I had written that joke. And so I said, that's the kind of joke I'm looking for my little old man. So this person sends me a list of jokes. And the very first joke is Moses comes down from the mountain and says, take these 2 tablets and call me in the morning. I'm like, you want me to pay for a joke I gave you? And none of the jokes were very good. I didn't use one of them. And I just thought that was hilarious. I'm like, wow, okay, so a comedy writer tried to sell me my own joke. And that was my first introduction to the comedy writing world.
That's a crack up. So behind the scenes, as you were preparing, way before AGT, as you were preparing to think about going on AGT, how did that inspiration hit you? Because you were on the fair circuit. Oh, tell one story. Please tell this story about your smallest audience.
Yes, this was probably 6 months before I went on America's Got Talent. I was performing at fairs all over the country, and I was performing at this fair right outside of Houston, Texas, maybe an hour. I think it was an hour east of Houston, Texas, and so we get there, and I get to my fair to do my performance. And they said, there's a threat of rain, so we're going to put you in this 1,000-seat theater, and we're going to make sure we make announcements to everybody that you're going to be in there and you're going to be performing. And I was like, oh, cool, that's great. So my sister was with me. And she was kind of running my little merchandise booth. So I get in there, I set my stuff up. It comes time for the show, and there's one kid, 12-year-old kid, sitting in the front row, and I'm like, well, I guess it's time to do. And so I did the show, and I'm doing the show, and of course I've got my puppets making. It is very humiliating, very humiliating. I'm like, oh my gosh, how much longer do I really want to do this? This is just nuts. Because it has a good moral to it. So I'm doing this show, and I'm just thinking, oh my gosh! And I'm making jokes. The puppets are making jokes about how I can't draw a crowd. Maybe if they did the show themselves, more people would come. Stuff like this. So about 10 minutes into the show, these three guys, young men, I'm saying maybe early 20s to 30s, they come into the theater, and I'm thinking, oh, thank goodness, we're finally starting to get a crowd. And it was the custodial crew, and they started folding up the chairs in the middle of my. Well, no, I'm only like 10, 15 minutes into the show. So, of course, I make more jokes. I'm like, well, okay, I guess apparently the show's over. They don't realize that I'm doing a show. And so I good-naturedly, I got the kid, and I came over and I said, well, thanks for coming to my show. And he goes, oh, I really enjoyed it. It was fun. So I gave him a copy of my DVD and a CD, and I said, oh, well, thanks for putting done a show for nobody if you hadn't been here. Well, so I was really discouraged. My sister, by the way, is laughing. She is laughing so hard at this and saying that was one of the funniest things she's ever seen in her life. And so it was one of those moments, though, where, I literally had that moment where I said, is this even worth it? But the fact is, I still got the check for that show. They were paying me. They were paying me to do a show. So I got the check. And as I got the check and I deposited the check, I thought, well, it was humiliating, but it was fun in a way. And look, I'm putting money in my account. And so it really kind of changed my attitude. And I stopped worrying about, about having big crowds and everything. And I just started focusing but I'd already done that a couple of years earlier, but that's a hard thing to go through when nobody should show. But then it was, you know what? I'm going to have fun. If it's just me, if there's nobody in the audience, me and the puppets are going to get up here and do a good show, and I'm going to get that check, and I'm going to put that in my bank account and pay my bills.
I've seen you perform a lot, and you really do have fun, Terry. You have a blast up there. Yeah, it's very, very good. So how did you...
Well, let me just say, I recommend to anyone out there watching, and the only place I can find it is like on Amazon or in DVD, but because it's not available anywhere for streaming. But I recommend to everyone to get two movies, The Jolson Story and Jolson Sings Again. Because I'm not kidding you, those two movies changed my entire life. There was a point in my career where I was miserable. I was absolutely miserable. I was thinking, this is horrible. I watched those two movies, and all of a sudden, I see this man who has such an absolute joy and love of getting on stage that he goes for 3 and 4 and 5 hours. I don't recommend that because you'll blow your voice out. But the point is, his love of the craft, his love of audiences, his love of singing was why he did what he did. It was not for fame and fortune. So I recommend anyone out there who's struggling, watch those movies. And I truly believe you're going to come away with an understanding of just how lucky you are to be able to entertain for a living, whether you're entertaining for one person or 100,000 people.
Oh, that's
so anyway,
wonderful.
I'm sorry.
That's great. Okay, Jolson's Story and Jolson Sings Again. We're going to put links. Thanks, Brian.
The only place you can get them on Amazon, and I think it comes in a 2 DVD set where it's like the Jolson Story and Jolson Sings Again.
Good.
Watch them. Yeah. I'm telling you, you love them.
You got it.
Try to watch them and put them on. I'll try to watch them and put them on, digitize them, so maybe I can upload them to YouTube. That might be fun.
Brian's putting links right now to the page, so everybody's going to be able to see those as well and maybe buy them.
Yeah.
So.
It's so encouraging. And, for someone out there struggling, it's so incredibly encouraging. I think it'll help you understand just how lucky you are. If you're making, if you get up there and make $100 or $50 or $20, you're making money doing what you love. And that's where it is. Yeah. It's not about, very few people will get to my level or Jeff Dunham's level or Darcy's level. But you know what? I got to be honest. If I had never hit it with America's Got Talent, I would be just as happy as I am now. It was not my success that made me happy. It was my craft and my art. And I wanted to be the best for myself and for God. Yes. I'm a Christian. And so I wanted to be the best for God, not for because praised me and told me how amazing I was. That wasn't, it had nothing to do with it. So,
hey, so when you were beginning to get the idea, I'm going to go for it, I'm going to do America's Got Talent, how did that begin to percolate?
Well, that was a really fast thing. It was in 2006 when all that started, and I had heard about America's Got Talent, and my first reaction was they said, "Oh, they're judges and they're going to." They thought, "Oh, it's a gong show." No, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. So I watched the first season and it was really good. And for some reason, I'm having a massive brain fart. Who that was on the first season? What was his name? Oh my gosh, he's going to kill me. I've had him to my.
Kevin.
My brain has
Johnson.
just gone completely.
Yep.
Kevin, thank you.
He did He did the
So Kevin was on
Kung
there.
Fu delay.
Yes.
Yeah. He has our Matilda.
Yes. And
bird.
watched. Yes,
Yeah.
he's absolutely an amazing ventriloquist. So here I am watching this show going, you know what? They're being very respectful to him. They're not, this isn't a gong show. This really is like they're legitimate for the. So I'm thinking to myself, do I want to? Do I want to? I don't know. And unbeknownst to me, I was playing fairs, and I had discovered in 2005 that I had the ability to do impressions and singing and ventriloquism. So I made that the main focus of my act in 2005. You were going to say something?
That was during the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're talking about exactly the same time, but you were also in Texas the Band and did ventriloquism with Texas the Band.
Yes.
And just fast forward, that was
after. Yes, that was Texas Band ended in 1. So 2002, I was solo.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had 4 years of just being a normal ventriloquist where I'd get up and I would do comedy and a little bit of singing, but not much. And then I saw a singing impressionist in Vegas called Andy N.
Yeah.
February 2005. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's amazing.
Yes.
I can do this. I'll just do all those songs, but I won't move my lips and I'll have my puppets do it. So literally everything changed in 2005. And so in 2006, like I said, I did every single day was 3 to 5 shows a day. So I was doing fairs 18 days at a time, 13 days at a time, 8 days at a time, so I was doing these and it was every day was a grind. And for 9 months, I did 3 to 5 shows a day at elementary schools. So I was performing all the time. And I was doing the same thing. I was doing my impressions of ventriloquism. Well, unbeknownst to me, during 2006, while America's Got Talent was going on, people that were coming to my shows were emailing NBC and saying, we saw this ventriloquist at the fair that was amazing. We think you should be on America's Got Talent. So I got a call from America's Got Talent saying, wow, we've gotten a barrage of emails from all over the country. And we would love, would you be interested in auditioning? And so at that point, I said, well, again, I did not have time. I was working every single day. So I told them this. I said, look, I work all the time. And they said, well, send us your schedule. So I sent them my schedule. And they said, well, we noticed you're going to be in, I think it was October of 2006. And they said, we're going to be there for like 5 days at the Los Angeles Convention Center. And it says you're going to be performing in Los Angeles. And I said, I am. I'm going to do a school. My school shows usually end at about 2:30 in the afternoon. And they said, well, why don't we set up a thing for you to come in at 7 p.m. and do an audition for us. And I'm like, great. So I pack my puppets. I drive over. I do my thing. And it went amazingly well. People were like, oh, my God, this was amazing. This guy's, and I mean, these were the producers of the show. And they're going crazy. They thought I was cheating. They thought I had a tape recorder in the puppets, which amazingly, I still get accused of that. People still think I have a tape recorder in the puppets.
Crazy good.
Yeah.
Who did you have then? You had Walter,
so I had to go up to him
Maynard?
and actually get like.
Who else?
I had Walter. No, I didn't have Maynard. I had I had Emma Taylor. I had Winston the Impersonating Turtle, which you did an iteration of.
Ones,
right at the end.
Yeah.
Those were the original that I bought at a toy store. No, wait, I didn't have Winston. Winston didn't exist.
Okay.
I had a Kermit the Frog puppet. Winston came on during the show.
I love it.
Yeah. So I wanted to do my Kermit the Frog on TV, and the Muppets wouldn't let me. So I had to create Winston. I just found him at a toy store, and I had my friends in Austin, Daryl and Sissy Johnson. They went to this toy store. I found it online. They went to the toy store, bought it, and overnighted this puppet to me.
Oh my gosh.
At the studio.
Wow.
So I opened the box, and there's my little turtle, and that's how. Born. But I probably did have Maynard. I had also a character that Verna Finley had done that was a Frank Sinatra looking puppet. I think I still have him somewhere, but I don't know where he is. But I had him doing Tony Bennett and well, they were crazy. And so then I'm thinking, they said, you know what, you're gonna hear from us by Christmas if you make the show. I hear nothing from anyone. Absolutely nothing from anyone. So it rolls around maybe April of 2007, and I'm thinking, well, geez, I thought that went really well, but I didn't. They called me up and they said, "You're on. Let's. We need you next week in LA." And I said, "Great." So they flew me in. I did the thing, and then the rest is history. I never thought I would win. I mean, come on,
now,
what are the odds?
During this time that you were going through the very first contest, then the second, how many were there total? 3 or 4 or 5?
I'm thinking there was 5. I did the first one. I did Emma Taylor at Last. Then I did What a Wonderful World with Winston Piercing Turtle. Then I did Unforgettable with Emma Taylor again, and then I did Tony Bennett and Dean Martin. 4. So that was Tony Bennett and Dean Martin. And then I did Walter T. Airedale and Friends in the Low Places in Winston singing Crying. So I think that's 5 or 6.
You did the 2 together?
Yeah.
That's 5, yeah.
I did 2 of them together.
The last 2 were double characters, yeah. Oh my gosh. And so during this time, World Vince and of course all the ventriloquists, ventlists and everything, they were going crazy. Of course, all your friends, all of the people that knew you, and now of course you're the face of ventriloquism. They're all talking about it. So everybody's typing and stuff, going crazy, and they're going, "My gosh, did you see this guy? He's going to win. He's going to win." So I send you an email. And because I went back to your original email where I saw that you were looking for a writer, that's the only way I knew how to contact you. So I just thought, I wonder if that email's still good. Sure enough, it went to you, and I said, "Terry, my name is Steve Axtell. We haven't met before, but I wanted you to know that pretty much everybody in the vent world thinks you're going to win. And what I would like to do is to sponsor you, Terry. And I would like to build you a custom puppet of your choice. And you tell me what it is you want to do, and I want to win with you." That was my email and my plea to you. Your reply to me was wonderful. I remember it to this day, and it was incredible. And you may not even remember this, but you said, "Mr. Axtell, oh my gosh, I have always wanted to buy one of your puppets. I can't believe you're offering me this. I could never afford any of your puppets." Hilarious. But you said, "My sister had this turtle for me and wanted me to go on with this, and I cannot do anything else. I've got to do this to honor my sister." And your loyalty to her was just amazing to me. And you went on and you put a little guitar in Winston's hand, and you put a little wig on his head to be Roy.
That's what my sister did. Yeah, my sister was the one who. Yes, she had taken my turtle puppet, because when I said I was going to do Crying, and actually my sister was one of the ones who told me to do Crying. I'm trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and she said, "Your Roy Orbison's uncanny." And I think I had never Roy Orbison without moving my lips though. So a lot of this stuff, and one of the best parts. I mean, obviously this pandemic's horrible and it's shutting things down, and I'm truly praying for the country that God will bless us and help us to get back on track. But one of the blessings, there's always a blessing in everything that happens, because as the scripture says, all things work together for those of us who love Christ, is that it's actually pushed me to do things. I'm doing things that I never dreamed I could do ventriloquially. I never thought I could sing some of these songs without moving my lips, and I'm making myself do it. But that's kind of what happened with Crying was my sister. And so she asked me to send Winston, and so I do remember that email, by the way, that you're asking. They're talking about. And she had made this little wig for him and put glasses on him and made him look so cute. And I thought this is what I'm going to do. And she also was my hero at one point. She's gone to be with the Lord since that time.
We'll get more into that for sure. Do you have Winston? I know you have your current Winston with you right there. I wonder if we could do a little bit of Crying for us. Now, this is not the Winston you won with, and it's not the one that we made for you, but it's your current and forever Winston, and I love him. He's awesome. Hey, Winston. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you. Okay, what are we doing?
Oh, he wants you to do Crying. Okay. Crying over you, crying over you. You left, now you're gone, and from this moment on, I'll be crying, 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 yeah, crying.
Wow. Oh my my
Thank
gosh.
you.
That's just freaking amazing. Oh, Winston, thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Okay,
If you need
I
me
appreciate
again,
it,
I'll be
buddy.
here. Yeah.
All right. Oh,
If
that's
you need-
incredible. So, okay, so you went through all of those stages, and you did crying, and that's the one that cinched it, and you won. Now, you told me in the email, you said, Steve, if I win, I'm gonna order puppets from you. I'm gonna call you and let you know. And you called me. You had my phone number. You called me, and I don't remember because you said, Steve, I won. And it was like nobody knew yet. Nobody knew yet. So I don't know how. I don't know if it was before or it was Eastern or I don't know how's it go.
Yeah, what it is oddly, and I don't know how in the heck they did this even in 2007, but people were keeping the secret. We were recording on Tuesdays, and then it was playing on, or no, we were recording on Saturdays, and it was playing on Tuesday. So somehow no one was leaking out who was going through and who was. It's very amazing to me that ever happened. They changed that. They made everything live. The year after I won, they made everying live.
I know that's a big secret.
Now
that's a
the
big
last
secret.
show
It probably just destroyed your contract, but but I got that call on a Sunday or a Monday.
Well, I'm with them. So but it was only that year, and this year, after every year after, everything was done live. So what happened was then on that last performance, it was live, but it was live on the East Coast. We recorded it at p.m. And we still had 3 hours to wait before it was even going to start airing. So I was able to call you and go, "Oh my gosh, I won!" And by that time, it had already been announced on the East Coast. So we didn't have to keep any secrets. Now, during the time I had let something out, I would have been in trouble. Probably would have gotten kicked out of the show. So I wasn't even allowed to tell my family. I had to keep everything very, very secretive. So no one knew until it aired. And I was very strict on the rules.
Very honored that
you
called me, and that's our secret. No one else will know, Terry. Hey, if there's anybody out there that has a question for Terry, we're going to be going through our history together, and there's a lot of really fun. We've got a watch party on Terry's Facebook page. No? Oh, we don't. He shared it? Okay, cool. So everybody's in our group. Okay, awesome. So we've got everybody here. You can just ask, and Ryan's monitoring things. Ryan is going to be communicating the questions for us. So he'll interrupt us as we continue to talk. Okay. You won, and you placed a buku, huge order, and it was a bunch of stuff. And one of the characters was my jazz man. And you said there was an interesting story about that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I had this manager that was had not ever done anything at this level before. And so I was writing all this stuff and he, Lord knows where he found this person, but he came to me and he said, "I found a guy who can make your puppet. He's going to make you an original, I created this character named Julius. He was going to be a singer in the vein of like Nat King Cole, the Ink Spots, he's going to be super cool and super, he was just going to be one of those guys that is incredibly classy." And so this guy took this puppet and when I got it, it was 3 days before my my show in Vegas. And I think that was August. I won on August 19th. It was October 19th or something. I was going to do my headlining show in Vegas, and I get it, and it's the worst thing I've ever seen. This guy, that was when I found out this guy had never made a puppet before in his life, and it looked like a monster. It was awful. Like it was a hard puppet, and I would be using it, and when you would use it, it would be like clack, 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 clack. Every time you would do it, I'm like, oh my God, I can't do this. So I have already written this routine and I've got this whole thing in reverse. So I called you in panic and I said, Steve, I have created this character, Julius. He's a black character and my black puppet is not working. Do you have a black puppet in stock that you can overnight me and I can use in my Vegas show? And you did overnighted me the Jazz Man. The funny thing is, and we were talking about voices last week, is that he did not look what I created. And I created this voice. The voice I created was low, and it was going to be smooth,
Yeah.
kind of Barry White, you know, and a little bit smooth and super cool, you know. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, and that did not
Yeah.
fit at all the character that you had sent. So back to what we had talked about voices. I get him and I'm thinking, okay, well, this doesn't work. So I started working with him. I kind of went with like Rochester from
There's the picture of
Jack Benny show. You know, okay, let's go. You know, so I went with that look there. You know, so and really great. I used him for a couple of years actually. He was in my first DVD. But my original, I still wanted that original smooth. So let me see if I have him. I think I have him right down here. I've got puppets, not all of them, but and then so I called
Puppet Heap.
Puppet Heap, not an Axtell Expression, Puppet Heap, and I kind of gave them the description, and they
nice.
made this
Yeah.
guy right here. So
There he is. Can you do a little song with him?
Yeah.
While you
So
got him? What?
I was born by the river in a little tent. Oh, and just like the river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will.
Oh my gosh, that's Julius.
There's Julius.
Yeah. And you did a song on Oprah with my Julius, with the jazz man. And that song, what was that you did on Oprah? I've been trying.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Here,
Yeah.
let me get him. I wish I had my
That's okay.
jazz man
That's all
puppet
right.
here. I've been.
That's it.
What is it? Whap, whap, wham. I've been really trying, baby. Tried to hold back this feeling for so long. And if you feel like I feel, baby, come on. Woo, come on.
I love it. Get it on. Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, we have that video that's on YouTube that you did.
Yes.
We got a couple questions here. All right.
So you can probably repeat it if you need to.
Okay.
But, Lewis Taylor asked, Terry, how did you first hear of Steve Axtell?
Lewis Taylor asked from England, how did you first hear about Axtell?
I really don't know. I think it probably, I don't specifically remember, but I'll bet you it was Googling puppets on
Back then,
the
too,
internet.
I used to advertise
And
in like news events and different, Dialogue and Mark Wade's New Oracle and some of those. Yeah.
Probably, yeah. It was probably one of those. But I don't believe I ever had an actual physical handheld catalog. Did you ever make those? I did have. I remember just going through all of your stuff online and being so impressed with your abilities. To make puppets. I was just blown away. And the fact that I have a couple of actual. I think I've got three puppets that were created especially by you for me. So I got Vicky, Donald Trump, and Connie Capilla.
Yeah, Vicky and
and by the way, Connie Capilla is going to be one of my songs in the next few weeks. So Elves fans, you're going to get to see Connie Capilla. We were just talking about that today. If I had Connie, and he's still locked at the Mirage.
We've got a documentary that you and I made together of the entire creative process of walking through from the phone call. Hey, Steve, I'm thinking of getting a new character. This is what I want. And the phone call on my side. Okay, how big do you want it? About what should he look like? And all of that, all the way through the building of it with my team at our shop, the documentary of how we built it, of the special hands that you wanted made, and exactly some of his influence in there. Oh, man, it was incredible. And then finally, you're unboxing it in your dressing room. Man, that's so cool. We're going to share all that.
That's awesome. I'll have to watch that. It's been a long time since I've seen that, but I think I need to watch that.
And it's given me an idea for another chapter that Axtell is going to be doing here live and online. So that's going to be fantastic. Okay,
so you've got another question.
One more question. Okay.
Another question from Susan Rover. Do you ever drive your wife crazy doing voices at home?
It's funny that you asked that question because literally as I'm getting for this interview, my wife, my next song and that I'm going to doing is Under Pressure with David Bowie, and I'm going to be playing. I'm going to be singing the Freddie Mercury part. And so I was in the bathroom, and I've got my headphones in, and I'm like, these are the days that never raised body pause. And I'm singing, and I'm doing this, and Angie comes in and she taps me on the shoulder, and I'm like, what, honey? And she had contractors. We had our flood. And she goes, honey, we're all enjoying your singing, but we really need you to stop. And I said, I'm so sorry. I was preparing for my because I'm going to record that as soon as we're done with this video, with this interview. And so occasionally, but she said most of the time she really does love that people ask her that a lot is, I sing all the time. I'm singing and I'm walking around the house. I'm always singing. I'm always learning new songs. I'm always working on new things. So
I want to do one more question.
All right, one more.
Keep rolling. So we have a question from Sissy Johnson. Will you ever bring back the Oldest Man puppet you did at fairs many years ago?
The Oldest Man.
Sissy Johnson. I love you, Sissy. Sissy is one of my dearest and oldest friends. In fact, Sissy and her husband, Daryl, are the ones who gave me the Emma Taylor puppet that I used for my first so thank you, Sissy. Bring back the Oldest Man in the world. I don't know. You know what? Now that Carl Reiner has sadly passed away, maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll do it in honor of Carl Reiner and Mel Brooks, the Oldest Man, a 2,000-year-old man. He's a beautiful puppet. He's still at the Mirage as well. But me and Daryl. Daryl has been one of my writers for years. Me and Daryl would sit down and me and Daryl together wrote my Oldest Man in the World puppet. So
that's so
love you,
neat
Daryl.
that they were able to check in. That reminds me of when you were mentioning that they gave you your first Emma, and at one point, okay, this is a bonehead thing. I need to bring this up. This is one of the things in your history that just burns me up. The company that made Emma also made Winston. It was, we won't mention their name, I might have already, but anyway, you contacted them about could there be a Terry Fator version of these puppets with like a label on them, or could you buy the rights, whichever would work out for them. And what did they tell you, Terry?
They so yeah, they sued me for using them on America's Got Talent and on my first DVD, and so we litigated for several years, and we finally came up with a settlement. And the settlement actually included me being able to use and sell those kinds of puppets, and I was like, no. That's when I went to you and had you make a version of Winston in the interim, and I was looking, as much as I love your version, I was looking for something more whimsical and that had a more, childlike. Winston's my perpetual child. He's the one that is, and he misunderstands everything. He doesn't understand the goings on in the world, and he looks at it through a child's.
I made you an
so
Emma.
He'll always
you
be that
actually
little
performed with it at Fergie's. Now Emma and that Winston is not what I ultimately would have made for you if you had just said, hey, let's dream up a new character. But those were transitional characters for you because your audience knew those original puppets that you had on America's Got Talent. And so you said, Steve, what we need to do is to keep kind of the feel of those characters, but make them look different enough that it won't be a copyright violation. And that was why they were transitional. That was the awkward phase. We'll just call it the awkward phase. No problem.
The awkward phase. And I knew that it was, we were both kind of under the gun, and I needed something quickly, and I needed something that I could start using for promotion and other things and this was while the litigation was going on. So, as you said, so this was, I was just trying to get away from using those puppets so that I had something. And then I was able to, a wonderful company. I don't know if you know many of the people in Puppet Heap, but they're the same people who work on the puppets and do things. And so, and that's really something that people need to know, though, is that who makes your puppet is really dependent on what type of a character you're looking for. I have to determine if I want a hard figure or a soft figure or a latex figure or exactly. So with I notice you're holding the mug up, and so that's the thing is that you have to know exactly what type of character you're looking for before, especially if you're getting one made. you know. And when it was, so for example, David Bowie, who's going to be in my next video, there was just no way I felt a soft puppet would work for him. He had to be a hard puppet because he's got harder features, you know. And so, so it really depends on what kind of character you're creating. Although that being said, you should, as a ventriloquist, be able to pick up a sock and do an entire routine. It's not about the puppet; it's about you, what you
As
do
some good
with
friends
it.
of ours have done. Yeah. Hey, I just wanted to bring up, just for my sake, because I'm cataloging my life with Terry. This is the.
Three.
Oh, sorry, this one. Yeah, this is the. I got 3 on here. That's the Winston, and Ryan has a picture he can pop up of Winston that's on your book. That's the one that's on your book, on your very first book, anyway. And then there's Vicky, the cougar. And the first Julius, which is my jazz band character. And those all have very special places in my heart, and as does this mug. And I think about you every day when I drink out of it.
That's so funny because I wrote a joke for that Julius, because he's got his eyes. I remember it was so funny because it was totally innocuous, and I've never done political humor, and I don't take sides. I do have my Donald Trump puppet, but we've never done political humor. It's always been about just, like he wants to turn the White House into a casino, stuff like silly stuff, And the joke was that I said, he said my hair was sticking straight up. And of course, I look at him, I say, well, Julius, you look really surprised. And he goes, yeah, I've looked like this ever since Obama won. And then he goes, you look scared. He said, you look scared. And I said, yeah, I've looked like this ever since Obama won. And so it was just, again, to me, I look for humor. I look for humor in everything. And I got ripped in the Las Vegas press. Oh, he's obviously a Republican and he hates Obama. And I'm like, oh, my God. So I immediately took the joke out and said, wow, okay, well, I guess you can't even tell an innocuous joke, because it was just a joke. Comedians, it's a hard time to be a comedian in this day and age because nowadays, if you get offended by the picture of Aunt Jemima, we're all in trouble, for crying out loud. I just read an article. This is not a joke. This should be something in a parody site, but people are actually offended now that people call it master bedroom. So we're going to have to change. They're going to try to change master bedroom and master bath to primary bedroom and primary bath. It's like, well, how far are we going to go with this crap? It's ridiculous. I'm sorry. I'm a comedian. I write jokes, and it's very difficult when everyone is offended by everything. It really is.
You had my Donald Trump puppet in your show, and there was some controversy that went on where some headlines came out that the Mirage was going to make you shut down because you were using, or you couldn't use Donald Trump in your show. And then there was like a no, that's not what we said, or whatever. Fill us in on the gaps.
Well, now, and the funny thing is, since all that came out, and that was when was that? Last November, I think it was, when all that happened. Now I even know more of the story. At the time, I found out that none of it was true. It was all I had people that flat out lied to me. And then they're the ones, and that's why what happened was the people, by the way, no longer work for me. They came to me and they said, we just got out of a meeting with the Mirage, and they've asked you to take Donald Trump out. And I'm thinking, oh, well, I don't like the idea, but okay, I'll do it for them. They said it's too controversial. Well, when I'm doing this interview, and I said, yeah, the Mirage asked me. They were very nice about it. They asked me to take and I started getting calls from like the president of MGM, the president of the Mirage, and they're like, we never said that. We never said that. We never said that. And I'm like, well, I was told, and at the time I trusted the people that told me this. So I was thinking, well, okay. So I said, you know what? Apparently there was a misunderstanding. Apparently I got the wrong message. Turns out now I know the Mirage never said anything. It was 100% these people that, again, let me make it clear. They do not work for me anymore. They lied to me. And apparently they were starting to get nervous because of the political climate, and they blamed it on the Mirage. And the Mirage said, we would never and never have and never will. And the entire MGM property said, we will never censor anything that anyone does in our property ever. It's just not. And so I was kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, because I didn't think it that big of a deal, but boy, it went everywhere. I mean, it was an explosion. It was only one thing I've learned about the press, though. is that the press has the attention span of a gnat. So, you know, what is a big story today will not be a big story tomorrow. So I kind of let it roll off water off a duck's back. I've had so many, you know, I've been through 2 divorces. I've been through, you know, my mother suing me. I've been through, you know, and I'm like, and everybody else is panicking around me. And I go, you know what? No one's even going to care. This, you know, today's, what's the old line? I think it was from, it was a Hugh Grant movie and Julia Roberts movie. And he said, you know, today's papers are going to be lining tomorrow's waste bins. Yeah. And that's really true. I can't remember this. I can't remember the name. My brain is not working today for some reason.
That, and I do see the truth in that for sure. One of the great things that happened, I know you've been through a lot of bumps and stuff, but there's been some wonderful stories in your life as well. After you won America's Got Talent, I was approached by one of the ventriloquists in our community who I know has visited you a few times, Mark Edson. He's passed now. But Mark told me, Steve, oh my gosh, a friend of mine has all these videos on VHS of Texas the band and Terry Fator singing and doing ventriloquism with his band back in the 2000s or earlier. I don't remember when the actual fair was, but it was from Dallas, I believe. And so we uploaded all of those. We digitized them and uploaded them, and people can go and see there. And
I'm so glad you did too. I have shown them to friends many times. So thank you for that.
To see your talent and skill, it was just amazing. Just amazing back then. And that was your brother was playing bass, I think, and different. The whole band was an incredible band. Incredible.
In fact, one of the questions was, Terry, do you keep up with Texas the band? Any of the members?
I do sort of. Yeah, I don't really talk to Rob Beard much. I hardly ever talk to Rob. I do occasionally talk to Bill Galicki, which was the bass player. Actually, my brother played rhythm guitar. And Gary Scow, the drummer, we text almost daily. So awesome. We're good friends. Me and Gary's actually come out to visit me in Vegas 2 or 3 times, and also I've seen him a couple times when I went back to Dallas. He's a great guy. We love him and his family.
Oh man, that's incredible. One of the things that I found fascinating about your AGT appearance was that Larry frickin' Norman was in the audience. What? Larry Norman is one of my heroes.
That is such a... Oh, me too. That is such a cool story. So Larry, I have been what people don't understand about me, if you don't know much about my life, is that my parents would not let me listen to non-Christian music, but anything Christian was okay. So it didn't matter if it was heavy metal or punk or anything. So for me, the Beatles was Larry Norman and Randy Stonehill. You know, for me, the Rolling Stones was Petra. You know, so I really did not even get. And here's a kind of a cool story too. I didn't get introduced to the until I went to Liverpool. I actually got to really get to know about in Liverpool, and I got to go down and see the very first place they played, and I got to see John Lennon's piano, and it made me a Beatles fan. So I knew really very nothing about non-Christian music, but Larry Norman for me was might as well have been Mick Jagger, you know, or
why should the devil have all the good music?
So, what an amazing. And so what a huge influence on me too, because it was one of those things in the darkest moments of my life, I would put on my Christian music and it would glorify God and it would give me hope and it would give me a reason not to want to do something bad to myself, you know, because I had some very difficult and dark times, and the Christian music just kept me focused on Christ, and I'll always be grateful for that. But Larry Norman, so I was on his mailing list, and apparently he had a lot of physical issues, and they emailed, I got this, it was a mass email, and they said, Larry's having his 60th birthday, and you can purchase for, I think it was $1,000, you can purchase a seat at Larry's table at his birthday party, and a front row seat to a concert he's going to put on where he's going to do his greatest albums were called the Trilogy. It was So Long Ago, The Garden, Only Visiting This Planet, and In Another Land. And he's going to perform all 3 albums in the order he originally wanted to do them before the record company changed the order. So, and he's going to do all this live.
Yeah.
Oh, me too. Well, I've got it all on my phone, you know. Yeah. So I've got the CDs. So anyway, so I get a phone number, and I call them, and I said, I'd like to buy the $1,000 sorry, we're sold out. And I said, oh, dear God, please. You have no idea how badly I want this. Please, please, I can come up with the money. I'm begging you. And they said, you know what? We talked to Larry. He said, okay, we can make room for one more person. And I said, and by the way, I'm a ventriloquist. And if you would like, I'll perform at his birthday party for free. So now this is again before America's Got Talent. So I get a call back and they said, you know, we didn't know this. We asked Larry. Larry originally wanted to be a ventriloquist, and his goal was to be, and he couldn't do it. He had a puppet, but the lip was broken. It was a not a Danny O'Day. It was a Jerry Mahoney puppet, and the mouth was broken. But he said he never could do ventriloquism. So his dream when he was young was to be a ventriloquist. So he loved ventriloquists. Well, so he said, they said, oh my gosh, he would love to have you. So I get up and I perform and I do maybe 15 minutes. And I was writing material based on what I had seen. I had done a whole routine based on the concert he had done the night before. And he got up and he spoke for 20 minutes. And I think you can actually find this speech online. Yeah, he spoke for 20 minutes about me and about how I'm the best ventriloquist and most ventriloquists are corny, but this guy wrote original material, and it was incredibly flattering but a little embarrassing because I'm there for his birthday and he's there talking about me. And then afterwards, he comes over to me and he stands there and talks to me for like an hour, and you've got all these people coming around trying to talk, and he won't, and all he wants to do is talk to me. So I got his email, I got his number, and we became dear friends. I started calling him. I helped him through some of his worst physical ailments. His sister became dear friends. She flew in when he was in the hospital and spent some time with him, and we became dear friends with him. And so literally, he was always the first person that I talked to after it aired, after my America's Got Talent aired in L.A. He would call me on the phone, and then we would start talking about the performance, and we would start talking about what I was going to do next time. So I was what a blessing to be able to be dear friends with Larry.
2 times in concert live. And never knew him, but knew all about his illnesses and about the fundraisers and all about stuff. And I didn't know you at the time, so that it was really fascinating to hear. It fills up a little hole in my history as well. Wow, you are so.
Well, let me just say before you ask, and to keep the question, people need to understand that regardless of what you think, you look at somebody like. If you look at Jeff Dunham, look at Darcy Lynn, you look at, and the way I looked at Larry Norman was bigger than life. And getting to know him, he wasn't. He was just another person, I'm not anything different than the person that you know. Jeff Dunham's not different than anyone. We're all different. We're just human beings, I go to the store and I buy my groceries just like everybody else. I do the dishes when Angie's too busy. I was doing laundry yesterday, and people and I had some people working on the house, and they're like, wait, you're doing laundry? And I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, Angie's in there working. I mean, I don't want her to have to do it. So just understand that I know it feels like we're bigger than life because all you ever see of us is when we do these performances. But the truth is we're not. We're just human beings. We have our failings. Like I said, I've been through 2 divorces. I've had 2 failed marriages, very difficult. And thank the Lord that he had Angie waiting in the wings for me.
I've met all your wives, and I've had dinner with 2 of them. So I'm looking forward to dinner with Angie someday. Yeah, we're going to have a blast.
Oh, my God. Yeah. We will.
So your generosity is something that I want to touch on. You are one of the most generous human beings I have ever met. Not just because you have a lot of money, but because you have a generous heart. Your heart is so big. You have come alongside of first responders and our military. In every single concert that you've done, you're contributing the profits from all the sales that you do in your merch. I've seen you bring up wounded soldiers on stage. I have seen you help friends of mine who have been ill. I've seen children that you have inspired, and you allow people, when you're dead tired, you allow people backstage to see you, to meet and greet, and it's like, I know you're too exhausted for this, but you do it, and you're just so generous with yourself, your time. And I know you're a performer, but there's more than that to you. You're a very generous performer. Well,
thank you. That's really kind of you to say. And I think that the thing that people have to remember is, because there may be people out there watching right now that are going to be enormous stars, and you and I are going to be watching them on television one day, and they're going to be multimillionaires, and they're going to be out there. And the thing you have to remember is never believe your own press, and never buy into the character that you're creating to sell a product. And remember that every human being is just as valuable in God's eyes as you are. And that's why, I grew up as a janitor. I mean, we had janitorial business, and I would go in and clean buildings for hours and hours at a night, dumping ashtrays and cleaning out trash cans and vacuuming floors and sweeping floors. This is a kid, yeah, even into my young adulthood. And so my appreciation of those people that come in and sweep up my theater after I'm done and clean it up afterwards, I value them because I know what it's like to be there. And every single one of us was in absolute and utter need of Christ's sacrifice on the cross for us, me and you and every other person listening and watching. And God values every one of us equally because we are all his children. So as long as you don't, and that's really what it is for me. It's not, I don't really think of myself as that great of a person. I don't look at myself and go, wow, I'm this, look at me, I'm so amazing. I just, it's so. And I don't, funny thing is, I thought when I got famous that I would be aware of the fact that I was famous all the time. And I instantly forget that people will recognize me until someone says my name at the grocery store or at Disneyland or what. I never think about it. I just completely, it's not who I am. It doesn't me. What defines me is how I treat others and how I treat my wife, to be honest.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's absolutely great.
So
now let's get back to you and I. And you ordered the first custom puppet that was 100% custom was Vicky the Cougar. And you didn't even know what a cougar was. You thought it was a cat, I remember you saying in some of your interviews. And we soon learned that a cougar is an older woman who loves young men. And we've got some development pictures of me sculpting Vicky for you, of the drawings that you approved. And tell us a little bit about what you wanted. I know the redhead was part of it.
Well, the whole thing, somebody actually mentioned to me, and this was before I even started at the Mirage. I mean at the Hilton. So I did a Hilton for about a year, and I think that Vicky came along about 6 months into that year contract with the Hilton, and somebody mentioned to me, they said, you need to get a cougar puppet in your show, and my mind is like, I've already got a turtle. I don't really care. I don't want to get a whole animal, a cast. And then they explained to me, no, a cougar is someone, because I'd never even heard the term, but apparently it was, now it's much more common, especially since they had Cougar Town, and the show, the TV show Cougar Town and all that. But so I had gone right after America's Got Talent. I got invited to Emmy parties and all these different, Grammy parties and Academy of Country Music Award parties. And I have to tell you, I hate them. I don't like them. I don't like hobnobbing with celebrities. I like if I can. If I can be with a celebrity one-on-one, I'm fine, but I don't care about meeting celebrities. I don't care about hanging around the rich and famous. I want to make a human connection one-on-one, whether a person is a celebrity or not, which is why I love ventriloquists. I mean, I don't care if you're a ventriloquist who's been on television or not. If you're a ventriloquist, I want to talk shop with you. I want to invite you backstage and have a discussion about, so what's your life like and what do you perform, But anyway, so I get invited to all these parties and I'm just miserable, and I'm looking around and I'm seeing these women that look like they're more plastic than human, than flesh. And I'm going, oh my God, I thought this was only in the movies. I didn't know these people really existed. They're got these boobs that are so big, it's ridiculous. And I'm like, and then you can tell they're fake. So I'm going, wow. So I said, it would be really fun. And actually, Steve, you were the first person, because I said, if we're going to make a woman that looks like latex, she needs to be made out of latex. So there really wasn't anyone even in my radar to make this other than you. So I got her right here.
We got. Oh, no way. Yes.
And one of my favorite things, and this is so fun. Hello,
Vicky.
Steve.
How are you?
When you were working on me. You still owe me $50 for that. Right. Okay.
I'll never forget it. That's all I can say.
So one of the funniest things, though, is that, we have this little stick here. And so she'll be singing, because I'm all about that bass, And then she'll do that. And the crowd laughs every single time. So when she flips her hair like that,
I love it. So when
Vicky the Cougar.
When I first brought Vicky out, we've got some pictures going up. You took some pictures with some showgirls and Vicky, and we took some pictures together. And then you invited me to be part of your writers group, and I got to sit down with Rick and John and the different people that were there. And there's a picture right now up, and it was really interesting. So one of your writers was very interesting, and he was really provoking me to make her really, really slutty. I mean, way worse than she is. And I came up to this guy in your writers group, and he said, "No, not nearly." And I took Vicky's hand and I slapped him across the mouth.
I know exactly.
I tagged him, man. I tagged him, and I just felt like, oh my gosh, what did I do? And it was Vicky. I was, obviously, it was hilarious. But he goes, what the?
It's funny. It's funny, Steve, because I've had people press me to do that and to be more dirty and to be more like, for example, when I created the character of Rex, the crash test dummy, I was being pressured by the writers to make him very angry, to make him, he's so angry and just ticked off at the world. And as I got along, I thought, no, I think he should be more scared. I think he should look terrified because he's been in countless wrecks, and I think that's funnier. But then I started looking at it and realizing that it's my character. I'm not a negative person. I look at the positive. And part of that is just that I always, I was very terribly physically and sexually abused as a child. And I'm saying that just outright because there may be a lot of people listening and watching that may have gone through the same thing I went through. And I want you to know that there is redemption through Christ. There absolutely is. And it's your fault. If you're a child, you had nothing to do with that. That was other people doing something to you that was evil and wicked. And there is a place where you can come out of that and get out of that. Absolutely. And so even with all of that, my happy place was Jesus Christ. I listened to my Christian music. I got into my Bible and I prayed, and in the darkest times, I would go into the closet. I remember one time my father was on a rampage and I heard him abusing people in my family. And I huddled in a dark closet and prayed, and just gave myself to Christ and told him that I needed him, and so that's something though that really shaped my character is this being able, this outpouring of need for Christ in my life. And therefore I'm always able to find, I quoted earlier, all things work together for the good of those who love Christ, who love the Lord. And so because of that, everything for me has to be positive. I don't want a character that insults people because I don't insult people. I love people and pray for people, so not even humor. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. If you're a ventriloquist, you're doing great with insult puppets, then great. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying this is me. This is mine. And you have to do what's in your character, because I got to tell you, Don Rickles was the king of insults, and he was one of the sweetest human beings I've ever known in my life. Wow. It was a character he played. So, and I adored that man.
One of the things I wanted to mention that comes out of your journey of abuse, or at least the part about being forced to work so long, that's where you learned your craft of singing along with the radio and learning ventriloquism. And you were able to, you made lemonade out of a lemon in that. And you probably wouldn't be where you are if you hadn't endured that. And that's just life, isn't it?
No, it's true. It's true. And you'll find, though, that comedians tend to have a very traumatic life. There's very few comedians that had an idyllic life. And a lot of us,
I was abused as a child, and I was also made fun of, and bullies. Just I was very small. I was very, I didn't really grow until I was in college, and so I was very thin and small, and I found that the way to diffuse humor, bullying, was humor. If I could make a bully laugh, what they want is for you to cry and to get angry. And if you can make them laugh and you can poke fun at yourself. So that was part of the things that influenced me as well.
So you came through it all. You've got this incredible family now with Angie. You've got your puppets there. You've got this new house. You're in the Mirage now. Of course, with COVID, the Mirage has kind of shut down. And where do you go from here, Terry, with... It's been an enormous journey, and you just celebrated your 10th anniversary. I was there with so many of my friends, and Marty was there before he passed.
Yes.
So where do you go from here? How's it?
Well, it's interesting because we started talking with the Mirage. The Mirage came to me about in October of last year and said, we're looking, we want to do some different things with the theater that you're in. I know our contract goes until 2023, but would you be interested in ending that contract next year and, sometime in the middle of next year and finding another home at in one of our MGM properties? And I said, my gosh, absolutely. That'd be a wonderful
next step.
I love that idea because I want to play Vegas and I'm always up for something new and different and fun and creating a whole new space. And so for me, I don't like to be in a comfort zone. I like to be out of a comfort zone and trying to push myself. So Angie and I talked it over and we were kind of excited about it. We were thinking this is going to be fantastic. And then of course COVID happened and one of the casinos that we're actually negotiating with is one of the ones that's open. So it's like, And so it's funny because we were on our way home from the conversation that the Mirage wanted to end, to kind of end the contract early and have me move to another casino. As Angie and I were talking, and both of us agreed. We said, God always has a plan, so I'm sure he's got a reason for having me move. Yes, he's got a reason for wanting us to move, and sure enough, here we are.
Well, when do you think when will we hear an announcement of this?
We don't know. I know my agent is negotiating as we speak. He's in Vegas right now, talking to some of the people, and so hopefully it'll be very soon, and we'll have some very exciting news. One of the fun things though is comedy clubs are opening around the country, and I'm going to get to play some comedy clubs. I'm actually doing one in Columbus, Ohio. I think the July 16th through the 18th, and I'm super excited about it. I never got to play comedy clubs. I tried, and I was told later that as soon as they found out I was a ventriloquist, they threw my my promo in the trash because at the time ventriloquism wasn't very popular. And so kind of rocketed past, I had this dream of playing comedy clubs, and I rocketed past that after winning America's Got Talent and becoming a headliner in Vegas. So now, since comedy clubs are opening, we're negotiating with many comedy clubs all over the country. So I might be coming there to do some comedy clubs, which I'm super excited about.
Fantastic. That's really exciting. I got a couple heads here I want to show before we leave. Ryan's got a few questions.
We'll do some questions
I think let's do some questions while I get these.
Hey, hang up there just so you can hear it. All right, let's see here.
I got your Donald Trump here. This is the Donald Trump head that I made custom for Terry, and this is a duplicate, of course. And Terry, you said one time about a voice, the way you came up with this voice. It was hard to do it as a ventriloquist. Oh, you got him!
Awesome. Here's mine. I do. I've got him right here. So now, and here's the best part of him, though. Let's see. He hasn't had his hair combed. He was in his case when I was getting ready for this. So here we go.
Yeah.
So here's my favorite part.
There you go.
See his hair.
He flips his top.
How you doing, Steve?
Oh my goodness.
Good to see you. So yeah. When you're doing a voice, and for some reason I'm able to do the different voices without moving my lips. You know, I'm gonna make a change for the 100th time. You know, I'm able to do that without moving my lips most of the time. But with Donald Trump, you know, he purses his lips, and it's a little different. When you're trying to do Donald Trump, you've got to do this. Well, you know, I can't do that with a ventriloquist. So I just had to kind of make it a little bit more rough and gruff and do that New York accent, something like, you know.
It still works. Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'll just kind of let the puppets really more for humor and comedy. Puppets great again.
Awesome. The other head I've got here is one that I made for Darcy Lynn. Of course, I showed it to you before. This is Simon, and Simon thinks you're amazing. Give him a voice if you would.
That sounds fantastic. I want you to know that Terry Fator is the second greatest entertainer in the world, right behind Steve Axtell.
Thank you. Oh, it's funny. Terry, it's been a dream. We got a few more questions for you here. Let's see what we got, right?
Yeah. All right. So this question is from Luis in Germany. Terry, if you create a new character for your show, do you start with the puppet or do you create the idea of the character first? So what comes first, like the show part or the actual physical character?
Yeah.
The chicken or the egg, right? Well, it's every puppet is different. You know, lately I've been creating real life characters. So I've created like Elton John and David Bowie and Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin, mainly because I wanted to do some of those great characters in my show. You know, I wanted some legendary, iconic characters because it really works well for Vegas to have those characters. But when I'm creating an original character, it's totally different. For example, Winston the Impersonating Turtle was never meant to be. I wanted to do Kermit the Frog on America's Got Talent, and they wouldn't allow me to. The Muppets said, no, we don't allow anybody to actually do a Kermit puppet. So I just went online and started looking for a lizard or a turtle or a snake or something that would be a reptile or a amphibian, so that I could kind of do an impression of Kermit the Frog. And Winston the Impersonating Turtle was born. We talked about Vicky. You know, Vicky the Cougar was based on, I saw these ladies that looked like they had so much plastic surgery, there wasn't a whole lot of flesh left on them. And I thought, and that's where the character came from. Sometimes it'll come from, you know, Rex the crash test dummy. His character came. I was literally sitting around with my writers, and we were saying, let's come up with something we've never, ever seen before. And we started throwing out idea after idea. Oh, what about this? And then somebody said, well, I've never seen a ventriloquist dummy of a crash test dummy. And we're like, brilliant.
Wow.
And that's how that comes. So it just depends. Julius actually came along, his character came along because I thought, you know what, I don't have anyone. A lot of times I'll create a character specifically to do a genre of music. And I thought, I don't have anyone to do some of the great Motown, soul, and the old, you know, that old black music, the Ink Spots and Nat King Cole. And I created Julius specifically for that. So it's totally different. Sometimes the character idea will come first, and sometimes it's just like lightning hitting. It's inspirations like that.
Here's another question. You kind of answered this a little bit when you were talking about some of the people that have worked for you in the past, but Noel Kelly was asking, Terry, did you have the right advice to deal with the business side of things when you hit the big time? You know, did you have agents that didn't necessarily work in your favor, et cetera? So maybe what kind of advice did you have, and what advice would you maybe pass on to people now?
I see Steve smiling. Steve knows a lot more about the background of this. I have had the worst luck as far as people taking advantage of me, and it's been very unfortunate. And my biggest problem is that I trusted without verifying. It's fine to trust, but I'm imploring every person out there that is in the sound of my voice, if you're in business, verify. Don't ever trust anybody. Don't ever give anyone absolute control of your money. You sign every single check. And I'm sorry, it doesn't matter how big you are. And unfortunately, I didn't learn that until far too late. I've lost a lot of money, but you know what? Again, money is not why I do this. I do this for the love of the craft and for it's a gift God's given me. I do it for God's glory. So So God will take care of the money, and I'll be able to get it back. And now I've finally gotten to the point where I'm a trusting guy. And the worst thing is I've been taking advantage of people who claim to be Christians and who people work in the church. And I'm a sucker for that, man. You tell me you're a Christian and you work in the church, I'm like, I just trust you with my life. I'm just giving you advice. Don't do that. Even if they tell you, even if they're an elder, if they're a pastor, it doesn't matter. Don't let them have control of your money. Sign every check personally, because it'll and you're not being a bad person by doing that. You're being a good person.
Wise as a serpent.
So
here's another question. This is from our friend Carlo Penso in South Africa. He's asking, Terry, do you remember the very first vent puppet you ever got?
I do. It was a Willie Talk puppet. I got it at Sears. And I actually took the body apart and built a new body, put a stick on it, because it was one that just had a little string that came out of the back, and made it so I could turn its head. And I took one of my dad's old costume jewelry rings. I asked him, he gave it to me, and I put it on the end of the string, and I used that as my puppet. And then I bought, we used pictures, right, of some, you've seen my old character, right? It was a Danny O'Day puppet, was it? And that was it was a deluxe. Yeah, it was a deluxe picture. So a lot of people have seen those old pictures. And when I was doing the interview with Al Getler a few days ago, he had actually brought up a couple of pictures that I posted, and I got a deluxe puppet, and then I got my very first puppet, and he's right here. Let me show you. This was my first professional puppet.
All right, that's a Lubbock.
Oh, this is.
Hey, how y'all doing? Yeah, this is a Craig Lubbock puppet right here. His name is Terry Fator.
No, I'm not the Craig puppet. You are.
What? Say what?
We'll talk later.
Okay.
So anyway, and this is Walter T. Airedale. He's my he's the guy. So so he's my very, very first puppet, still in my show, and a major part of my show.
Keith
so
continued his business and is making the dummies, and has also worked on. Did he make a duplicate of Walter, or I know he
did. He made a duplicate. Yeah, he made a duplicate of Walter. He also made my Bing Crosby puppet, my David Bowie puppet. He made a Frank Sinatra hard figure for me. I have two Frank Sinatras: an old Frank Sinatra, which is a soft sculpture, and a hard
some
Frank
wonderful
Sinatra.
builders out there. Chance Wolf and Puppet Heap and Werner and different ones are just incredible that you have been able to work with so many, and Landon also. Yeah, incredible. It's great. We have another question here.
Sure. This one's from Robert Worthington, and he said he's in the last 3 chapters of his mayor course. Any advice?
Practice.
Yep.
And but the best advice I can give you about practicing is, I'm a person who doesn't like to sit down and practice. I don't have I have ADD, ADHD. My brain wanders. It's very difficult for me to concentrate. So what I do is I take the time to practice when I'm doing other things. So for example, I'll be practicing when I'll do the dishes for my wife. I'll cook for my wife. I'll do the laundry for my wife. When I'm cleaning, when I'm doing something, I'm making the bed in the morning, when I'm driving, if I have a long drive, we're going to be going to, my wife and I are going to be driving to LA from Vegas for July 4th to stay with some family over the weekend. And I'll spend a lot of time practicing and my singing and working on songs and doing things. So when you're doing something that you absolutely hate, as long as it's something rote, like we all have to clean our rooms and do the dishes, keep the house clean. When you're doing that, practice. That's when I do. I would find, so growing up, we were janitors, and I got to tell you, hey, and neighbor, freaking hate it with all. I hate it. I don't like to work hard. I like to work my brain hard. I don't like to work. So when I'm out there and I'm cleaning floors and I'm cleaning toilets and I'm cleaning ashtrays, I would be practicing my ventriloquism. And so that's the only thing you're going to get better
sure
by
paid
practice.
Off for you. Yeah. So great. And how does it feel to be on the new wave of the golden age of ventriloquism, right?
It's it's amazing, and I hope that that more and more people are inspired by people like. And I'm just honored to be able to be one of those that brought. And I don't say the one because I'm not the one. There, Jeff Dunham had been out there banging it out and doing his thing and doing amazing things and getting incredible popularity before I ever went on America's Got Talent. And then when I won America's Got Talent, that was seen by hundreds of millions of people all over the world. And but to be a part of those people that are bringing ventriloquism back into the mainstream, there've always been really good ventriloquists out there, but there haven't been a lot in the mainstream. And a lot of people didn't realize that ventriloquism is a good vehicle for adults to be entertained. And I don't mean dirty, I mean clever. And adult humor is different from child humor. Child humor tends to be more silly. Adult humor tends to be more brainy. And I'm an adult comedian who is appropriate for children because my jokes are brainy. They're not, I don't tell silly. But I never even told silly jokes to even when I would performing for elementary school kids. I made sure and kept my act brainy. But that was just me. So people know that ventriloquism is now valid as an entertainment forum for adults as well as children. So I love.
Well, Terry, this has been incredible, and I know that everybody here has more questions, and they can post them, and you can feel free to come back if you want to answer questions. You can look through the comments as you want, but we want to thank you for your time, and we are so excited to hear your announcement soon. So we'll be watching your page, and we'll be waiting to hear what this next exciting journey. Leg of the journey is for you and Angie. This is great news. All right.
I can't wait. And I'm hoping I could do some international travel too. We're talking about some agents to do that as well. So, notice we got a lot of questions from all over the world. And so hopefully I'll be able to do some stuff there too.
We've been talking about a new character as well. So we'll follow up with you on that. And I'll be putting Connie, that documentary, in the comments here so everybody can watch that journey of how you called me, how we made the character, and how it unfolds as a creative process.
And in the next few weeks, Connie will be one of my singers, so the one singing. And I'm also working on one for Vicky too. So in the next few weeks, on Wednesdays, I try to release a new song, and so we'll try to get Vicky and Connie in the next few weeks in.
Well, thank you so much, Terry. Love you, buddy. Bye-bye.
Very welcome. Love you.
Oh my gosh, Terry Fator.
You'll see more of him on future episodes of Inside Axtell.
Yeah.
But as a reminder, as we leave you this Christmas, we are available for your consulting, audiovisual needs, studio needs. You need a song written, a script written, a script punched up. You just want to run something by us. Let us know. Ryan at Axtell.com, Steve at Axtell.com.
Oh my gosh, what
We'd
a year
to help you out.
2020 has been.
That's true, Steve.
2021 is going to be an amazing year, and it's one where we can take things and turn them to a more positive outcome. And we can do that. In fact, Axtell Expressions is doing that, Ryan, by having the new website.
Yep.
Some new dinky videos, including this one. This one's going to be early 2021. Super fun stuff. And a
lot of new stuff coming your way from us in 2021. So again, go to Axtell.com, sign up for our newsletter. It's a great way to stay in the loop on
Now, how
all
would they do that, Ryan?
Axtell.
How do you sign up for the newsletter?
Go to our website, and right there's a little form. You put in your email address, and you are good to go.
Do it.
Hey, we'll see you in the new year, friends.
Wow. What a cool thing. Thank you for hanging with us this year. Huh? Whoa.
See you New Year's Eve live.
Yeah, we will.
So hold your horses.
Oh yeah, don't talk about New Year yet.
That's right. We're gonna be live with you next week.
Yeah.
On Christmas Eve. Come and join us. 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern.
Oh my gosh.
All that jazz. We'll be live. We'll have a lot of fun. We'll have some new stuff to show you. So come and join us. Then we'll talk about 2021.
I guess so.
All right.
What?
Merry Christmas, friends.
Merry Christmas.
See you next week.